Good morning and welcome back to the Stour and Orwell Walk. This is part 2, which starts here in Nacton and ends just in the centre of Ipswich. I've just passed the lovely church of St Martin in Nacton, which actually dates to the medieval period, even though it looks a lot more modern and is given a grade 2-star listing. And the opening stretch of this part of the walk is mostly on the road, which is a bit of a shame. It follows quite a long straight road up to the A14, and I'll head underneath that and then branch off left down towards a country park which I've never been to before, and I should get some really nice views, hopefully up to Orwell Bridge and the Orwell Estuary as well, just on the south side of Ipswich, before I work my way through some housing estates and some parks into the town centre. It's been really nice to get away from all the busy roads, even though I can still hear and see the A14 behind me. It's not quite as much as a shock as when I was walking underneath it, but I've just taken this footpath now down towards the Orwell Estuary and come across a rather large pillbox. Wasn't expecting it to be here. I didn't see anything on the map, but I've just had a look and it's a Type 22 pillbox with 15-inch thick walls, and it obviously dates to World War II. And it seems a bit of a random place here because you can't see the estuary, and I don't think you would have been able to see the estuary during the time it was built. But doing a bit more research, right here and underneath Bluebird Lodge and all over in that area was actually the site of Ipswich Airfield, and that was constructed in World War II to prevent any invasions. So it's just really interesting that there's still little hints of all of the World War history still about. It's great. Talk about a change in scenery. Literally 2 minutes ago I was on the road and now I'm in this dense pine woodland. It's actually really nice in here. It's a lot cooler, the sun's starting to come out, and this is a prime place to spot some woodland birds and mammals as well. It's likely there'll be deer and squirrels in here, also things like woodpeckers, so I'll certainly keep my ears open. Now this path will lead me all the way down here to the edge of the estuary, where I'll turn right and then follow its edge underneath the massive Orwell Bridge, which I'm actually quite excited to see. I know it's a man-made structure, but it is very impressive. And just like that now, I'm back at the edge of the Orwell Estuary. and it is so calm at the moment. There's not a breath of wind. The tide, I think, is on its way out. I'm not quite sure, but it's fairly far in as well, so I'm right on the edge here. Far distance over there you can see the massive Orwell Bridge. Constant rumble of traffic over there. And on the far side of the estuary is Freston Tower, which dates to 1550 and is grade 2 star listed. And I don't think the Stour and Orwell Walk actually passes right next to it. I think it goes up behind, so I imagine this may be the only view I get of the tower. But for the moment, I'm heading back into the woods and I'm going to follow the edge of the estuary right underneath the Orwell Bridge. I'm right underneath the massive Orwell Bridge now, and isn't it impressive, the structure? It spans 1,000 metres from side to side and rises to a height of 43 metres, and it opened in April 1982 at a cost of about £23 million. Today I reckon it probably costs something like £250 million, but it is still just really, really impressive to be so close to something this big. It's worth noting that here, once you reach the Orwell Bridge, the Stour and Orwell Walk actually splits in two, with one option, a shortcut, going straight over the bridge to the other side of the estuary. And then there's also another path that goes into the centre of Ipswich. And I'm going to be taking that path into the centre of Ipswich and ending the second part there, which means there's a nice long day's walk from Ipswich down to the end of the Shotley Peninsula. So you can always say take that path if you want to make the walk a little bit shorter, but then you're going to have to find somewhere to stay overnight or use public transport to get back into Ipswich anyway. So I'm heading into the town centre. So I'm now in Landseer Park, and I actually thought this section was going to be a little bit dull, but it's really, really nice. I'm in this lovely wooded glade at the moment, and there's plenty of wildlife about. I can hear so many woodland birds and loads of squirrels about. It's really nice. And the Stour and Orwell Walk actually heads right alongside the entire country park, joins Holywell Park, and that's where it comes out just behind the docks, and the road is then followed just around the docks, but into the centre of Ipswich. So I'm deep into Holywell Park at the moment, and I followed a dike which took me to a lovely pool where there was lots of wildlife. But I think officially the Stour and Orwell Walk follows the edge of the woodland, but there's no way marking or anything like that, so it's really hard to follow this section. All I know is it crosses through the country park, and I think the best thing to do is make your own way. There's lots of ponds and stuff and lots of other things to see, and I think so far this is probably the nicest country park that I've been to. I actually thought walking into Ipswich was going to be really, really boring, and I've been pleasantly surprised. The route really has found a lovely natural wildlife corridor right into the town centre. The end of my walk today is marked by two churches just close to the quay. The first one is dedicated to St Mary at the quay and grade 2 star listed and dating to the 15th century. The church alongside is the Church of St Peter and dates to the 14th century and also grade 2 star listed. These two churches also mark the location of the ancient Saxon settlement that Ipswich grew up around.